Hello there. Whoa. All right. If you're not in the theater room and you can make sense of what I'm saying right now, go ahead and start to make your way in. We're going to get started with the lightning talk. And for anybody who's out there that can kind of outside of this room, while we're bringing people in, just a couple of announcements. One, to start the lightning talks, which will go from 1 to 1:30. Immediately following the lightning talks, we're going to talk briefly about how open spaces work. We'll go through getting that kind of logistically set up. And that'll be from 1:35 to 2:05 as far as the setup goes. And then we'll start the rest of the afternoon right up until 4:25. And then we'll all come back here at 4:30 just to say a few closing remarks. Head over to, if you hadn't seen it already out there's a table completely dedicated to stickers. We all love stickers. So visit that table. If you've got stickers to share, put those there. If you want to grab some, grab some. I want to say, or just put out a reminder for the vendor passport, the different sponsors that we have here, and get them to mark your passport. And then once you're done with that, once you've had them all marked, the room place that we're going to designate drop off for those. DevOps Bingo, just a reminder of the DevOps Bingo, in case you haven't been bingoing. It's at bingo.devopsdaysrox.org. I just a minute ago finally took a look at Twitter, and it is blowing up. You guys are doing awesome in terms of sharing what's going on here. So please keep that up. Hashtag DevOps Day, so mention DevOps Days Rock. Don't forget about the job board out there for those of you not with your bosses who are willing to admit that you're looking. There's a lot of stuff over there. Put your information if you're looking. If you're a company who's looking to fill a spot, make sure you get your information there. I will also probably at the end retweet that as well. And then last, before we get all of the people that have traveled from afar. There's obviously many of you are local from Boulder, Denver, DTC, Fort Collins, the whole Front Range, and the tech and the innovative from great distances came from London. And we've got people from Alaska, we've got people from Canada, some people, I just talked with someone who drove out here from California. So there's people literally from all over the country and different parts of the world. So thank you for making that trip out here. Presenters right now, and just do a quick introduction so everybody knows who they are. Let me grab them. So first up, we've got Josh Timberman from Chef. He'll be going first, followed by Seth Goings from ReadyTalk, and then from Ping Identity, and then Lewis Evans from Delphix, and then wrapping up with Jimmy Quadra from InQuicker. So, is everybody excited for lightning talks? All right, and exit the stage, and once Josh is done, he'll then just take a step off and hand the mic off to the next person. We'll just kind
sales pitch. It's not really a sales pitch, but right? It's pretty easy to use curl and bash. So what's usually a shell script, and then you pipe it into bash. And we've got some examples here like RVM and Homebrew, and then Chef down at the bottom. We're on there, and I'm sad. So why is it bad? Because running arbitrary code from the internet is bad. Don't do that. Don't run it as root. Don't use an unencrypted source. You're a bad person if you do this. No, you're not. It's fine. It's cool. But packages are a better way to install your software. They come from a trusted source, like your distribution, right? You trust post-install scripts, right? This is the awkward part about lightning talks. Yeah, so you install MySQL server, and then MySQL server starts up. Wait, I didn't configure it or tell it where its directory is, and then the post-install script not only has starting it up, but it also does a bunch of configuration stuff for it. I have a configuration tool that I use, because we make it. So here's some cynicism for you. Here's a RPM that you can install that will install Chef using curl bash. But it's an RPM, so it's totally cool. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I think they're going to release the hip-hop album of the year. Goats are pretty cool. Goats are really cool. You get to watch them for 15 seconds. So here's the thing about curl bash. Curl retrieves text. You don't have to pipe it to bash. You could pipe it to less. You could save it on your system and then read the handy comment at the top that says, we're just trying to do the easiest thing for you. So I think the chef has done it right, and there's a way to do it right. And you build a package, and then you make package repositories. And you can use Package Cloud for your package repositories, and don't do anything in the post-install scripts because that's really bad. And then the other things you want to do is you want to serve your install script over HTTPS, otherwise everybody will make fun of you on the internet, and that makes you feel sad. And you make sure your certificate is valid, because then you got the green padlock. And watch out for wget on Red Hat 5. You also want to verify the content of the package, right? You want to have checksums, and SHA-256 is good, and you serve those checksums on a site that has HTTPS as well. It didn't take me as long to say this one. Okay, so Chef has done this right. So we have an install.sh script. What it does is detects the OS it's running on, talks to an API service to feed that information, and then it downloads the packages. We have a bunch of our packages available on Package Cloud, and we're working on getting the Chef client packages there. And we have an API service called OmniTruck, and it takes this metadata stuff, and don't worry if you can't read that in the back, I'll make these available. It spits out the URL for the package, so you can just download that package and install it. Cool. Or you can just trust our script is doing this for you. It's got a SHA-256 and MD5. Because here's the thing. We support a lot of platforms. People run Chef on AIX and FreeBSD and macOS and SmartOS and SUSE, blah, blah, blah. There's multiple architectures, there's multiple versions of each of these. So making a package repo for all these things, So it's 50 different permutations, 6 different package types, and not all of them have repositories. Solaris sort of does with IPS, but nobody actually runs a public IPS repository. And that doesn't even count for Windows, because we run repositories. We have Package Cloud for our soon. We already have Chef DK, Chef Server, and all of our premises that aren't on Package Cloud. And that's where for supporting all those other repositories are. So Windows is the Chef install.sh. It has all in the cool shells. You can just use Chef to do it. So the moral of the story is, don't use curl bash to install your software. Use it to install Chef and everything else that you used to use for curl bash. On these.
All right. Thank you, Joshua. Okay, next up, we've got what Lightning Talk is. These things just auto-advance every 15 seconds, and these guys have to, know they're... Okay.
That's a slide too early. Now, if we're all honest, most DevOps movements start here in a conference space. So I feel like that's more than 50. There we go. So in reality, I get really hopped up on sugar. I was considering, actually, I'll do it right now. So when I get really crazy, fed up with sugar, I see tools. This is a hammer. I don't know if you've seen the wooden hammers, but this is better because it's got fiberglass on it. So this can nail stuff together 50% faster than any other hammer. A tool that you find it wasn't designed for that purpose. So even though it's an awesome car, it's not designed to have a tool that's abandoned, and you are like that guy in that on the masses of what you actually do have to make. You view Twitter a couple weeks later, and you see the same person that presented that DevOps tool that was going to save the world, and they're talking about how they're deploying rainbows thousands of times per day, not just 100. But you're stuck. I love this picture because he actually knows he's in trouble. He's got some soap in his hand. Now you have 2 systems to maintain: your old stuff, your new stuff, and you're the only one that can handle it. So on getting people out of ruts, introducing new tools, new methodologies, new stuff, and I consider it pulling people out of ruts at ReadyTalk. Another way to think about it is, if there's something strange in the neighborhood, if there's something weird and it ain't looking good, who are you going to call? There we go. Ghostbusters. Come on, slide. Come on, slide. There it is. So I like to consider this team of 3 at ReadyTalk, the DevTools team, Ghostbusters. We're solving problems that no one else wants to. So you go to a conference, and you're a little overzealous when you full DevOps movement is to run a pilot program instead of trying to change everything at once. At ReadyTalk, I made the mistake of changing all of our build systems during Christmas time. Another principle is you're gonna make people very angry. So realize that and solve that by feeding people. You're gonna make people's blood sugars go up, and they're also gonna look like this. They're gonna be really happy about that cheeseburger that you just deliver hope, hope for a better future, rainbows and unicorns, and also show them that you are owning the change. So that takes a lot of emotional stamina, and that's what leadership is. It's not an intellectual phenomenon. It's not knowing more than your coworkers. It's being able to just muster up more strength to come into work and say, we are gonna introduce this change. The way I like to talk about stamina, emotional stamina specifically, and he downs it right away, he's not gonna be able to lift that weight, right? It's gonna take lots of reps to build that strength to move your organization. My fourth principle is to get out of your rut. So take your cat for a walk or learn how to shred on the guitar. The reason for that is that I found is that we can't use the same thinking that got us into to get us out of those same problems. So you have to do something that totally jogs your memory, like if you are working for a food bank differently than you did before. Then the fifth principle is to record and reflect on your progress. So this is really cathartic as you look back, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. So because this is a conference and you're all hopped up on shows with all these principles, and go check it out. There's more resources for you to learn from as well. So that's it.
Thank you. Of the nature of these, and they're just back to back. If you have questions, which some of you may, suggest them during the open spaces, and we'll. Did I pronounce that right? Good. Oh, I keep doing that. It's not the right thing.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Elizabeth, and I'm a recruiter that specializes in DevOps. I think partially because I enjoy working with you guys, and DevOps and engineers have always been more fun, so thanks again for having me. So recruiters often get a bad rep, and I totally get it. There's a variable to a job without any thought behind it. This results in a lot of emailers out there that clearly aren't even looking at my profile because they're not reading. So there's a lot of common complaints, and I probably don't need to cover these too much because you guys all know what the client's looking for, or don't realize that they're people too, and we should treat them like people, not products. A lot of the problem is that they have money on the mind. They're just trying to make a profit. They're not even thinking about what's best for the candidate or best for the company. They just want to get that, and definitely not all recruiters are like that. So what I'd like to address are the benefits of working with a recruiter, how to get the most out of working with a recruiter, and how to attract the kind of people that you want to work with, because you spend lots of time with them, so you want to enjoy their company. This is how long someone looks at a resume on average. So they're just quickly looking over the resume for the skills, what they've been doing at their current role, and maybe education or any other relevant information that they're looking for. And recruiters can add so much more value than that. Recruiters tend to know what the client, or at least good recruiters, know what the client is looking for, and can highlight the right information in your background. HR often writes the job specs and doesn't know exactly what is important to the manager. We have a huge network and are constantly building connections. I'm constantly going to meetup groups and just meeting with anyone. And so we have a lot of market knowledge. We are the first to know what's hot and in demand. We can share this information with you to help you, guide your skill, what they're using and what they're looking for. So provide a lot of information. We talk to so many people and gather so much useful information, so much more than the job description or the company. If you're in the company, we can use information to push urgency and create competition so you get the job that you want. And you can even ask us questions that you may not be comfortable asking the hiring manager directly. We also provide a lot of education. It's really tough when you think you did great forward with you. So a lot of prep goes into the interview. Well, we've often had candidates already interview there and can give you feedback on previous candidates, and so that you can go in with what the interview is going to be like and what to focus on. We also have advocates to help get the most within that budget. We can also negotiate other areas that we parameters of the budget. To get the most out of working with a recruiter leaving, keep us up to date on your interview activity and let us know what's important to you. The more information we know about, take the opportunity to candidates and give us feedback so we can make sure we're getting you the right people. And just to attract good candidates, because there's definitely a lot of companies hiring, not enough people. Talk about the cool projects you get to work on. Why do you enjoy working there? What brought you in? What are some of the perks that might not be highlighted? Any information you can share is going to help get someone in the door. So in recap, I help get from search to hire and help fill in the gaps, providing a lot of useful and third party. So thank you. I'm Elizabeth, and nice to meet you.